Hi. So, first off, thank you to all the new subscribers. I love that you guys are joining and finding value, I hope, or sending it to your friends and saying, hey, watch this. Bitch is crazy. Um, Whatever. That's fine. We all have our YouTube videos that we watch. I can't get enough of the royal family for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, tonight is, I think, more of a start to showing you what I really wanted to show with these videos and maybe give an insight into your family member that might be going through the same thing and things that they're also dealing with. So I think it's a little hard tonight because I don't necessarily have a set clear direction, but I think I want to make a few points. So I apologize. I've been a little dark lately. And by dark, I mean I've kind of put blinders on. So I just had my birthday and it did not go well. I think all of us that have this diagnosis struggle a lot. And I also think we are never going to really be able to explain this situation to anybody unless you're in our shoes. Just like nobody's going to be able to tell, like Jason can't tell me how he feels and be able to get to the point where I would be able to understand what he goes through seeing his wife go through this. But one of the things that I think is the most difficult for me, and I know others fail in this area or struggle in this area, is communicating some of these not fun topics with people closest to us who maybe also don't want to deal with this situation. Seriously, the dog again. This is one thing that if you subscribe, you're going to know that the dog barks all the time. And I've become a plant lady. I don't know. I read a stupid article that they're good for your home to have air and purification. I may have gone a little bonkers for Bobo on the plant. Like, for example, I don't know about plants, but this is a cute little coin plant. That's what I call it. This is another plant that I got. Again, don't know the name of it. And it's got a cute little dragonfly. And then I may have completely redone the ones on the mantle and put all new ones. I'm just showing you my house while we're talking. That's some sort of bonsai. That's one of those thingies. Kayla, you know the name. I have a little succulent and then I have this other deal. I got to repot him. Oh, and he's got a baby chicken in him. Anyway, now that my dogs are inside. All of us, game night. I had game night for my friend birthday party. And thank you to who came because I needed it. And I say that because all of us with stage 4 cancer, I feel like, have lists. And one of my lists is like the things I want to do while I can. And the other list is things that I want to leave behind or do for my family, if that makes sense. So like call it a bucket list of places to go see or travel or spend money on. And then the other thing is, leaving cards for my kids' birthdays, or leaving videos, all that fun stuff that I should have started 3 years ago when I was diagnosed, and mentally have not been able to wrap my head around that yet, and have not done a thing. And that scares me, because I just think at some point, what if I don't have the opportunity? But I think we all have this list. Here's the reason I say this. A friend of mine came to me and was telling me about her dad, and that unfortunately he went really quickly with stage 4 cancer. And he wanted to talk about his business when she came down to visit him. And she was just telling, like, he had just been diagnosed, and she was going to go down to help him with treatment and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and then he wants to talk about his business and what he's going to do with it. And I was like, you need to let him. You need to let him voice his wishes, if you will, and get everything off his chest. So, yeah, you might not be mentally ready for it, but it's not about you. And I would say that to everybody that is a caregiver. And it's really harsh, and I apologize, but it's not about you. This diagnosis is, I've never been tortured, but I'm going to bet it's pretty damn similar, only on a mental side. I find myself, here's the thing. It is so difficult for me to be able to describe on a daily basis how I feel. I think a large majority of the time, cancer is not first and foremost in my mind. And I also know that I'm way healthier and in better situations than a lot of other stage 4 people. I'm on the boards, I read comments, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart what all of us have to go through for not a cure. And knowing that we're doing this and it's going to fail anyway at the end of the day. It's you have your days where Frank has a baby, where I really struggle. He's going to pull out the chicken next. I don't want to edit this, because I feel like if you have somebody in your family that has this disease, they probably struggle as much as I do to get things out and try to word things in a way that they're going to be openly, that it might lead to dialogue, or that it might lead to open discussions about whatever the thing is. And I'm sorry I'm rambling. I think what I'm just trying to get across is every day is different for all of us, and I struggle. Like, this is just very difficult at times. And right now, I think more than ever, it's difficult because I am at a place where I feel like I'm on borrowed time, and I know I'm doing amazing, but I think I also had in my head that there was a process, and, I would run out of drug treatments, or I would run out, the drugs would fail me, and then I'd move on to clinical trials, and then I'd do this, and I failed to really understand that things can happen just overnight. Just, you could have a heart attack and die, because this is poison. It's tailored poison that I'm choosing to get. And I just finished my 21st cycle of Halaven, which is the most that my doctors ever given anybody. And I say that because I think I thought for a long time, like, I was just sailing. Like, I was just, we're good. And then there's times where I struggle, and I really need to mentally put things in order. So whether it's leaving my kids' cards or making videos for my kids or doing emails or making a video for my husband or sending him notes or, any of those things that we want to do or we don't want to do. But I have a list of things that before I die will bring me peace in order to either tell somebody, complete whatever it is. None of this is easier for a caregiver or for the patient to be talking about. Believe me, it's not something that I ever thought I would be talking about. But I guess I'm saying all this because I myself tried to do this and it did not go well. I think all of us, you either get the caregiver that is up in your face and how can I help you and what do I need to do? What, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you. Or you get the caregiver that struggles. I know my parents are struggling. I don't think they know how bad I struggle at times. Because I tend to do this thing where growing up, it was not super emotional. And so, at my parents' 50th anniversary, I started to get emotional while I was giving a speech, and I just had to, literally stop. So if anybody was there, that's why. Because we just didn't do that. But I say that because I think a lot of us put on a really brave face so many days out of the month and hide or don't want to talk about how we're really feeling some of the time because you don't want to be Debbie Downer. I don't want to be the person that's constantly complaining that my bones hurt or I can't sleep. If I said that every day to my friends, I'm guessing at some point they'd be like, okay, we know. So I know every one of them is thinking to themselves, no, that's not true. But if you are the caregiver, please, please, please know that whatever you're dealing with is not as bad as what the person that's dealing with cancer is dealing with. Because yes, we have the aspect of me not being around for you, you not being around for me anymore. But all of us have the brave face we have to put on. The struggle of getting out of bed every morning when we hurt because the cancer was in our bones. And even though it's healed, it's still there. And now you have arthritis. So I've had arthritis in 9 vertebrae all winter. I've had it in both hips. I've had it in my legs. It sucks. But I'm not going to bitch about it every day. So I had a very large disagreement with my parents, mostly my dad. And I don't want to throw him out on the bus or throw him under the bus. But I know that a lot of us struggle with our families because I just turned 43 and my parents are still completely active, completely here. They still have grandparents. I have 2 grandmas. So it's difficult because they have to watch their child go through this. And I can't imagine what that's like because when my kids fall off the bike and scrape their knee, I get that stomach, oh my God, I hate it. But here's the problem. For all of us that have this, we've planned every scenario out in our head. We've planned out what we want to say to people, what we want to do, what I mean, you name it. Do we move? Do we not move? Do we stay here? Do we go? Do we change doctors? Do we lease a car? And like, for example, tomorrow I turn in my 3-year lease on my minivan. And the reason I leased it is because they had a death clause that if you die, they'll take the car back, end payments, blah, blah, blah. And it's a very emotional night because I didn't think I would live to turn in the van. So I'm turning in the van and I'm feeling like, what does that mean? Does that mean that, like, I know it means that I'm doing better than they thought I would do. But every scenario, trust me, we have thought about, we have gone through in our heads. And as a caregiver, I know it's hard on you too. But for the person dying, because let's face it, that's what's going on here. There are things that we need to say and get off our chest so that at the end of the day, when I'm laying in that bed and I have to say goodbye to my kids, I don't have any regrets. And to me, that's really important. So if I tell you I love you, it's because I do. And it's because I can't imagine not having you in my life. And there's some people that maybe I'm trying to cut out because I think it would be easier. This is when you need a sippy stick. The people closest to us are the people that pull on our hearts the most. And here's the thing. Whether it's a spouse or a child or a parent, I feel like our little life sometimes has more complications than we let on. I know I'm rambling, and I'm so sorry. Here's the thing. I don't like fighting with anybody, especially now in my life. I feel like life is too short. But I feel like sometimes as caregivers, you get to the point where you're just trying to make the person always happy and not talk about the bad things or not dwell on dying or not dwell on these things. The problem is it doesn't end in my head. I go to bed and I can't sleep every night. I go to bed at about 1 a.m. because I can't sleep. Either I can't get comfortable and I hurt, or I just can't sleep. We're on some horrific drugs that don't even read the inserts because they're ridiculous. But if you are a stage 4 person, I don't want to challenge you, to be honest, but I want you to try to live your most honest self, even if that hurts feelings, and even if it may not be what the other person wants to hear, because my entire life I feel like I've told people what they want to hear, or I've apologized or tried to fix it or tried to take on everyone's burdens. I'm not a saint by any means, but I think everybody does it. And I can't anymore. So understand that if someone is talking to you about their wishes, it's because unfortunately they have to use them. And for me, if people are in town, I'm going to talk to them about what I want. Because here's the thing. I'm very controlling and I want what I want. So I want to make sure that I get my way. So I want to make sure everybody knows, like, here's how Melissa wants it done. But just listen and don't be afraid to have those conversations. I think they need to happen a lot of the time. So while this may not have been my most, like, focused post, at the end of the day, I think I just want people to understand that all of us have thought about every scenario, every situation, and tried to figure out how to make peace with it before we die, not knowing when that other shoe is going to drop. So go love your loved ones and understand that even if it's not the way you would do things, it's not about you. It's about the person dying of cancer, because they're the ones that have to deal with it. And in the middle of the night when I can't think, I go into my kids' rooms and I just think, I hope you remember me. And I hope it's all good memories. And I hope that you have them. So just know that if someone comes to you with an important thing, it's because it's an important thing to them and they need to just be at peace with it. And that's, I think, the biggest thing, is there's so much that I carry around on a day-to-day basis that I just think, like, can you hear this dog chewing this toy? He's so distracting, but I love him. There's things that all of us, yeah, he's just going to nub on that for a while, that all of us have to think about and deal with. And I'm trying my best, and I'm not perfect. But I feel like I'm becoming more of my true self by being honest and having a take it or leave it attitude, which maybe is not the best. But I appreciate everybody watching my videos. I'm sorry tonight is very just scattered, but our caregivers are what keep us going. And I know I can't do without them. But that also means that you're going to have to suck it up every once in a while and take one for the team and let us vent, let us talk, let us get stuff off our chest that keeps us up at night. Because it's important. Otherwise, I wouldn't bring it up because I don't have time to do the little things. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. When I've had a bad day, I've looked through the comments and just seen all the comments and read them and taken them to heart. So thank you. And I guess we'll just follow this journey as we go. Okay. Everyone have a fantastic night, and we'll talk soon.